What if you have a dream of a health coaching or fitness training business, but the reality is you need to create income right now, as in today? What if somebody had a gun to your head or to somebody you loved head? Would you find a way? Would you go ahead and take a risk and do it? Because listen, most of us are just getting in our own way, and we really have the ability to do this right now. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to She Means Fitness Business. It's a division of Voice for Fitness where we know that you want to be an inspirational example to other midlife women. And in order to do that, you need a profitable because money is power, health and fitness coaching business. And the problem is usually a lack of clients or a lack of revenue because you're not charging enough. We need to talk. And that makes you feel uncertain whether you can actually succeed. I believe you deserve consistent, dependable revenue from clients that you love. And I understand exactly how it feels to be in your shoes because I have been there too, which is why I now train fitness pros internationally. And here's how I do it. Number one, we focus on how to get you more clients, somewhat like this episode, really fast. How to make more profit, not just revenue, because we want to be concerned with how much are you keeping, not just making. And then third, it's how do we create freedom and not paint you into a corner just exchanging an hour for $1. We need to get you the freedom financially and time-wise to enjoy it. So book a call with me. In the meantime, you can get the Health and Fitness Professionals Business Scorecard. You can take that. It's like a self-assessment, and it asks you specifically if you have this in place, this in place, this in place. And if you don't, you can see exactly where you fell off and you've got some gaps to fill. That way you can stop feeling like your dream is slipping away while other less qualified and less heart-centered coaches make sales and get clients. Instead, you can easily increase your revenue by at least $5,000 a month in 90 days. I promise you. If you're already there, congrats and go you. But you should be able to increase your revenue by 25% by the end of the year if you follow my recommendations. All right, let's dive back in. What about this? Like, everybody's got this dream of a health coaching and fitness training business, but the serious reality is there are a lot more coaches coming out and twiddling their thumbs. Like, they're saying, I'm a coach, but they don't have any clients, or they have a client, they have a couple clients, or they're getting ready to have clients. And listen, you and I know that's just a game, is something we tell ourselves. But what if it were true? What if somebody said to you, look, they got a gun to your head, or more importantly, maybe to somebody that you love, you'd find a way, right? I mean, you'd find a way to get the money. I think we'd all say, of course, yes, whatever it took. And we lose the concern or the fear of what somebody might think about us. We lose that pride that may actually be what's keeping you from asking for money. That, by the way, is just tied to some sense of feeling like that you're begging for money when you ask for the sale, which of course is ridiculous. If you have a product or a service that will help somebody, and we know that you do. We know exercise has the power to do that, but realize that you probably have to work with your money issues if just asking for a sale is a problem for you. There is a way to get through this. Part of it is just practice. You've got to practice making an offer. And I'm telling you, that every time I was the personal training director for a club for 6.5 years, every Monday morning, we would have a meeting, sometimes more meetings than that. And every time we did role playing, we role played sales. Nobody liked it because it feels like you're in the hot seat. I mean, the pressure's on. It's like, what do you say? And that's exactly the point, because when you're alone with a client, or a potential client, you don't want to not know what to say. You need to have some idea of what are their objections going to be and what are you going to say to that. And if you practice it, it gets easier and easier to actually get to a yes. And there's a science behind it, but I'm not going to go into that any further now. But I want you to realize there is some pride behind it. The not wanting to ask for money, thinking that everybody that knows you're a health coach or a trainer who needs help will come to you. They won't, because they've got pride too, thinking they should be able to figure it out themselves. So you have the obligation to help if you know how to. That's the thing I think that got me over the hump, actually. But it's the way I teach it to you, to trainers, and to fitness coaches as well. It's your responsibility to say, look, I can help you. Would you like help with that? Or would you like the help to come from me? All right. The truth, though, here is there's no easier way to create income right now than a service business. So we have it made. Seriously. I mean, in personal training and in coaching, we don't have any cost of goods. I mean, it's not like we're making shampoo, or probably more relative. If you're going to sell a supplement, you first have to stock the warehouse, meaning you have to buy it. There's a risk there. Now that money that you've already spent is sitting in a warehouse, and honestly, you have to make it back. So you're always behind. This roller coaster of supplement sales in terms of protein and fiber for me, and some other things coming. Yeah, I don't love that at all, really. But when you're talking about service, it's really very little investment, especially if it was one-on-one. You're just talking to somebody and saying, hey, do you want to be a client? And you got a little, expensive paper at one point, but now it's just email and here's the order form, right? So there's no cost, there's no expense up front, and you don't have to build it. They let them come and then build it as you go. So here's how it works. This is not like supplements or gym equipment, sweat tells, tights, or visors. You just have to create an offer and ask. So whether you are just getting started, you're already selling something, this is for you. There is something here for everyone. And even if you are just getting started, the first one is going to be most relevant, but the rest of them pay attention to, because you get started in the right way. You don't back yourself into a corner in the first place. So one word first, before we get started, I want you to get ready to make money. Be prepared to track your revenue. So sometimes it's really easy just to celebrate and say, oh, I got a client, and your eyes kind of go into, there's cash registers there, like, okay, I'm going to charge them $500 and I want to get 10 clients. So, wow, that's going to be fantastic. But you need to really start tracking, like, what is the product that you're selling? So think of this as like a product spreadsheet, the product or the service. Think of it as either or, interchangeable words here, and write it down and then say, okay, so client number one paid X, and write down somewhere here how much time has to go into any marketing that had to happen ahead of time. Now, if you follow my step one, you're going to send an email. So you want to get the right words on that email, but that may take you 10 minutes. That's it. That's your investment. Yes. And then potentially you get a yes back and you send another email with, here's the order form, right? That's low time investment, at least ahead of time. Then the question is on the backside, how much time will be involved or will you have to put in order to service? So there's a wide variety of things that you could consider there, right? Like there might be, you're just going to deliver a PDF that is, or a cheat sheet, right? That tells them, here's what you do. Day 1, day 2, day 3, whether it's exercise or it's nutrition or it's mindset or any combination of those. You just give it to them and now they're doing the quote unquote the challenge. Maybe they get access to you in a Facebook group or some other forum so that there's ability to check in or ask questions. But again, you don't have to set aside specific time. Maybe mentally for yourself, you have to say, okay, 30 minutes at lunch, I'm going to check for any questions. Maybe 30 minutes in the evening before you wrap up again, you're going to check for questions, but maybe that's it. That's all the time invested. So it doesn't matter to you if there's 1, there's 30, or there's 300. Same time investment, although the number of questions you're probably going to get is going to grow or expand. So maybe it won't be just you. You'll have a community coach. There will be something that grows that way. Customer service probably will expand a little bit too, right? Because somebody inevitably will not like the color font that you use. Yes, these things happen, I promise. But in general, it's not like okay, I have 300 clients, so now that's 300 hours a week. Not in this case, depending on what else you might do, right? So if you're coaching a group, ideally in your head, you need to say, what's my time worth? And what am I willing to do this for? So I always do this. I did this like with a retreat. I will offer a retreat. And if a retreat doesn't get a minimum number of people there, I will refund the money. And I've done that with other programs as well. So, you can float it out there. I didn't build the program. I wasn't out anything. We were just out, the email. It's also kind of, you have to invest your energy. You have to really energize the whole experience in the product. And if you invest in that, there is that. You can't ever get that piece back. So if you expect it to, this really solves a problem, I know it's worthwhile, I'm going to float it out there. In the case of, say, a retreat that didn't fill for me, it was just too little lead time, actually, in this case. So I've done these for 12 years now. And this is the first one that I ever advertised with such a short timeline. In fact, it was 8 weeks. It was 2 months. And I was asking at the end of July, which is kind of the end of vacation season, or is vacation season for people. And I was asking people to come, 8 weeks later in September. Didn't get a big enough turnout. And, it's hard to turn down the people who did register, but it just wasn't something I could say, I can't do that. My time's not, I can't give it away like that. So you have to have a number in mind and be sure that you do that. But when you do want to invest your energy in thinking it's going to work. I'm going to do whatever I need to get it to work. I knew I was in the wrong and I was behind the 8 ball, giving them too little. So often I give like 6 months or a minimum of 3 to 4 because I do a 90-day training leading up to it. So again, that was my fault. But think about those case scenarios. Okay, couple of things. If you're spending hours and hours and you're delivering things, those products and services, you want that on a spreadsheet. So this is another reason to say, okay, you're doing the product spreadsheet, customer A, how much they paid, how many hours did you put in, first of all, promoting it to get it to sale. And then number 2, in delivery, how many hours will you put forward per customer? And it may not change. So it's just same hour per customers, if there's 300 or 30, or it doesn't matter. So that's an important distinction to make. Make sure you get that, because that way, if you're spending more hours than you realize, either in the marketing or the delivery and the service, you'll want to stop that right away, or you can't expand. You're going to limit yourself and you're not actually making money. You're just working all the time. You're creating videos all the time, but nobody's really paying you for them. And if you've got, 10 or 12 or 20 members in a regular but very low price membership, and you're making lots of videos, if you love it and it's more of a hobby for you, fantastic. But if you really want this to be something that is growing, is profitable, is creating community for those people that you serve, you're going to want to figure out, how do I advertise this? How do I get it growing and 10x it pretty quickly? This entire episode revolves around you having an email list, ideally a segmented email list of, who's buyers, who are the non-buyers. So you can choose to put an offer in front of people who are not currently in a program with you now. One of the most embarrassing things that ever happens is an email goes to people who are, it's inappropriate for, and it makes them feel like, you don't even know that I'm like a VIP client. I'm not sure why I got this, that kind of thing. Not good. I can't say that's ever happened to me, but I know that people have gotten emails, who maybe are in our membership, who should not have gotten emails about advertisements for a program coming up, that they're already past that. They're in and they have gold. They have a gold mine of content. They don't need more content. And yet, mistakes happen, but you don't want to just be loosey goosey sending this out on your Gmail account. However, don't go away. If you don't have an email yet, come back to me. You do want to use that. You have friends, you have family, and you have colleagues, and there's no way right there to run a business like that, but it is a start. Jeff Walker and his product launch formula, PLF, created a thriving business with this soft launch kind of thing. He helped hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs do the same. And you can too, meaning send it out to everyone in your contact list and say, hey, I'm offering this. If you have this problem and you're interested in a solution, email me back and or pass this on to somebody else that you know that would be interested in this. Time is short. I'm going to be opening this up to a limited number of people. We're going to get started. So just shoot this back. If not, hope you're doing well. Thanks for reading. Won't bother you with this again. Boom. That's it. So you can start with that. All right. If you're serious about a business, you want to get a CRM. That's a customer relationship management software, something like you could start with Aweber or Constant Contact or MailChimp. Lots of people move on to Ontraport or ClickFunnels or Infusionsoft. So there are lots of other management tools out there now. The pandemic exploded them. And they each have their pros and cons. Just pick one and go with it. Most of them, by the way, have free trials till you grow to a certain point, and then you pay. As your email list grows, you'll pay more. So when you're paying a significant amount per month, it means you have a significant email list. So it's not all a bad thing. All right. When you're using that, what it will allow you to do is to tag your customers. So when, say, they make a purchase, they automatically get exactly what they should get next, and they never see what they shouldn't. Maybe they're put into a special group with a tag, so they're excluded from all other promotions as they're getting started with you. If you don't have an email list, remember, you want to get started with that soft launch. You have to somehow broadcast this to everybody. Okay. If you don't have that CRM yet, don't quite know what I'm talking about, I can link to some other episodes about growing your email list. But let's dive in to these 4 ways. Now that you've got the foundation of, okay, here's what I'll do. Because some of you may say, well, I'm not making any money, so I don't actually need a CRM because I don't have any people. Let's work on both at the same time. You need a freebie so that you can put that on your website so people opt in and give you their email because they want that freebie. That's one way to start your email list. But all of that is like foundation building for this. So if you're going right for the customers, here's what I want you to do. Number 1, go figure. But of these 4 ways health and fitness pros can create income right now, make an offer right now. In this example, you float out an email and the subject line may say, are you still interested in, and maybe if you deal with women who want weight loss, you're saying, are you still interested in weight loss? Are you still interested in more energy? So you decide, whatever it is, are you still interested in a healthier ever after, right? Maybe, but the more specific you get, you're hitting on a pain point. So just being healthy is really nothing somebody wakes up in the middle of the night wanting, not unless they have disease. So if that's your client, somebody with disease who just wants to feel better, great. But if you have people who come to you because they want something fixed, like I hate my body, hate looking in the mirror, hate putting on clothes, hate going out, hate sex, hate anything, like those are the way they feel with strong emotions. You have to use very specific words. So here's what I do. Whatever your offer is, still interested in, make a spontaneous offer. that requires an urgent response. So in my case, I did this because I realized I was creating an entire challenge really for just one of my private clients who she needs to boost her metabolic flexibility. She was doing all the things. She's not losing weight. She deserves to, and we need to have a kickstart. But I realized that's a problem that others in our community probably also have, but weren't necessarily going to buy another program because they're potentially already doing weight training. So they don't need one. They're not at a loss for that. It's not working. But they would do this, a specific challenge designed to target the specific problem that they have. So I presented this as a beta group, which I often do if I'm going to run a program for the first time, see how it goes. Number one, see how it goes and how successful it is for the clients, what feedback I get, meaning what do they wish they had to make them more successful, what worked for them that I did offer, what do they want more or less of. I get a lot of feedback and I tweak it and perfect it before it goes out to a bigger group. So what I said is, I know this is last minute, but we're starting this on Monday. And literally, I did this on a Saturday. So if you want in, I need you to let me know by tomorrow. I'll send you the order form and then the PDF for the challenge and the WhatsApp group once you're enrolled so that we can connect. And that's where you'll have access to ask me questions. There's no private coaching call, nothing like that, one-on-one. At the end of it, I will do one 50-minute call with each of them. So other times when, say this is a big ticket offer, like it's a retreat and we're getting closer to like it's $2,000 or $3,000, it's beneficial to do an email to a phone call. So I would say, email me back if you're interested. I would never put like just the order form in there. Very few people are going to jump at that. So I wouldn't have had time in this case. Like I couldn't say, call me back if you're interested. I couldn't say that to 25 people. Number one, between now and Monday, I don't have the time. I'm just creating this PDF and thinking, okay, if I can make, X $100 per person doing it, as opposed to just create it once for one client, I think I'll do that. Yes, right. So that's being much smarter with your programming. So it's only a $500 product. I send it out to about 25 people that already know me well. Their risk is low. They already know and trust me. And most have been VIP clients with me in the past. So they've spent more in the past than that. Like that's just a, small, fairly low ticket thing for them. Okay, that's it. So it's like float the email out. Here's what I'm doing. Are you still interested in this? I have this beta group starting. In the email, I got a little bit more descriptive. I said, here's what's included, and literally laid out what I told you. They get me access in a WhatsApp group. They get the PDF. I told them a little bit about what's in the PDF, like the daily specifics, and that they get a 50-minute coaching call with me afterward to talk about their results, how they'll continue for that, and how they could improve it if it wasn't working for them. I didn't include that, but because you don't want to say that it's going to work. That's what you're thinking. But it's where do they go from here kind of thing. So there you have it. Frame your own. Send it out. Don't give them a lot of time, because if you give them a whole week, they will think, oh, I can push this back. I don't have to think about it today. No, make it urgent. Make it, if you want in, to take advantage right now. So everybody answered that I texted a very small group, people who I otherwise texted with in the past, and then I emailed it to another slightly bigger group. And so it has only been about 8 hours, right? So I'm waiting to find out who jumps in. But remember, I've already created this for a client. So all I'm doing is sending it out. That's it. It's very, very simple and very, very kind of, what do they call that? Grassroots, right? Guerrilla marketing at its best. You can do this right now. The second way to create some income, whatever it is that you're already selling, make an upsell. So if you are already selling personal training sessions or you're already selling nutrition coaching sessions, this is the way you optimize services that you already have. So just like this, sound familiar? Do you want fries with that? Or a hotel room service when you call for your order and they ask, would you like a piece of chocolate lava cake with that? Like, right? The 20% of customers who say yes to that just increase their sale for you by 20%. So very effective, right? So just think about that. Sit down and look at your math. If 20% of your customer base increased their sale rate by 20%, what would that mean to you each week or every month or by the end of the year? That'd be probably pretty good, I would think, right? Better than nothing. And all you did is, what other piece do you already have or that you can create once that would be beneficial? But notice something here, right? Say, take the chocolate cake example. They don't just ask this, like, do you want anything else with that? Because I've been to hotel room service people, called them, and that's what they said. But, there's like, no. Or maybe I'm like, yeah, lemon in my water. But, or they didn't say, do you want dessert with that? No, they got very descriptive. I mean, right? When somebody says, do you want dessert with that? Do you picture anything? But when they say, do you want a piece of our chocolate lava cake with that? And probably if they could, they would say, would you like a piece of our warm chocolate lava cake with that? I mean, am I making you hungry right now? But that's kind of the idea, is mentally you want an image of what that's going to look like and dipping your fork into it. Yeah. Okay. So they give us very specific. So should you. Do you want the success coaching with that? Or do you want the 21 pan meal recipes with that? Or do you want, you fill in the blank, what service goes with what it is that you're offering and would make them more successful? So in terms of they're doing a do-it-yourself training course. Maybe they log in and they get your exercise videos. Do you want success coaching with that? So we can talk about nutrition and sleep and stress and how you're doing with your sessions, how much you're improving your weight. Or, do you want the 21 pan, maybe you say high protein recipes that you'll need for boosting your muscle? Do you want that? So, obviously the cost of those two things would be very different. The upsell with success coaching, that's your time. So you better charge for it. And the 21 pan meal recipes with that, that could be $19, but that makes it easy to say yes, doesn't it? Right? So when it's just like, it's a $19 PDF, it's X pages. It's not only got the recipes in it, it's got the nutrition breakdown. It's got, twists so that if you have somebody who doesn't like chicken, what you could substitute, or, so you could embellish on that. So you can make that PDF. Remember, you're going to invest time doing that one time, and then sell it many, many times. And little things like at the checkout that increase the sale by $19, that can add up at the end. And to most people, that's like nothing. It's like, okay, sure, I'll take that, right? So number 3, take whatever you're already selling well and increase the rate. And here's how this works. Based on consumer psychology, for you and I, there's really no mental difference between 59 or 69 or 49 and 69. You could take a $49 product and make it 50 or 69. You could take a $69 product and make it 99. Take your current $99 product, make it $129. I mean, if you increase everything just by $10 or $20, it probably would not be a big impact or negative impact to your customer. probably wouldn't even notice. I mean, they're not going to think, oh, that's too much. But to your bottom line, it's a significant increase and it's very easy. There's very little labor involved in that. The conversion rate on those kinds of things doesn't change, but your profit margin does go up. And number 4, and then I'll recap all of these for you. Number 4 is do all of the above and do them all together, package it together. So send an email today suggesting a new group that you're starting, focus on a problem you know a lot of people in your community have. Then offer it at 20% higher than you normally do, that rate increase we just talked about, because hey, it's specialized after all, right? It's specialized to target a specific problem. Another alternative you could do, throwing a wrench in, you could suggest that after this beta group, you are raising the rate, which gives a different sense of urgency. So with the increased rate, but it's a specific targeted problem, that creates kind of exclusivity. Like, I want that because I have this problem and this is a special group. But in the other way, you create urgency by saying, obviously they still have to have the problem, but you're also creating this, okay, after this course, we're going to raise the rates and it's going up significantly. So now is the time to get in on this one, to take advantage of this offer that they're never going to see again. And then when they're at checkout, offer an upsell for, say, more private time with you. If they want the VIP version, they can add that on for X amount, or simply add an add-on that you know that they'll need to be successful, like back to the recipes. If you're doing personal training or some kind of exercise, come back to that. Think like this. This is the whole key to any of these working. You have to. What if you had to? I mean, you have to make this to make your rent, to go to the grocery store, to feed your kids. Sometimes you just have to imagine that you do have to do this in order to get out of your own way and do what was always possible for you anyway. If you make it not about you, not about what people are going to think about you, but you make it just about, I have to do this. I have to do this, and what's that going to look like? So let me recap these 4 ways. Number 1, remember it was just, you're going to float an offer out right now. Like, are you still interested in this? Like, whatever your expertise is, whatever the majority of your customers and clients come to you for, float that offer out there right now in an email and say, hey, time is short. I know this is spontaneous. It's kind of urgent though. I'm creating this group. We're going to get started. And for me, it just happens to be on Monday because that's the first of the month. Now, there could be another good reason to get started, but you decide. Number 2 was, whatever you're already selling, add an upsell. Figure out a way to sell. Okay, they're going to buy that. People are buying that well already. What could you upsell? And ideally, it's something that doesn't require your time. If you're going to offer coaching as an upsell, that's your time. Make sure it's a coaching price, okay? It's not a PDF because it's your time. Number 3 is take whatever you're already selling, just raise your rates. Just behind the scenes, raise your rates. You don't even need to announce it, just raise them. That is another ploy though. If you announce you're raising your rates at the end of the month, last chance, take advantage of this, then anybody else, you don't have to, if they've missed it in their email, they're probably just deleting those emails anyway, even though they may be staying subscribed to you. So that's okay. You don't have to, go overboard with announcing it again and again and again. Just announce. Those people who are paying attention will come and shop with you if you tell them that you're raising the rates and you give them one last chance. And then just raise your rates as you promised. Okay. Number 4 was do all of the above. You tie in all those things. So you create the offer right now. After the offer, you provide an upsell and, charge a little bit more instead of charging less. So remember, it's a beta group and you're trying to make money right now, but you're not coming from a place of lack Don't come from that place. Come from a place of providing a very valuable answer, solution to a problem that somebody has. It's a pain point. So they're willing to pay for it. Don't get salesy by having a sale. Just provide, here's how you buy it. And don't be creative or clever with your buy buttons. Just say buy now. Buy now. Don't say learn more. Say buy now. Okay. So I want you to come to the show notes and get all of those just to recap for yourself. I'd love to know which one of those ways of creating more income you use right now. But the point is, do it. Do it. Just send an email. And if you're going to create an offer, don't send it to your current client. Send it to those people who are on your list who are just on the fence. You know, everybody is going to get to the point where they've followed you long enough that they now are ready to take action. Whatever reasons, then wasn't the right time, but now probably is. Show notes for today will be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/create income right now. What are you waiting for? The world needs you right now more than ever.